Genealogy, what we gonna call it?
Oh, you come up with the name.
All right, I got you. All right, say no more.
You come up with it.
Say no more. All right, yeah, you good. Y'all go ahead back then. You was talking about two things.
Oh yeah. Ain't no surprise, that's for sure.
Yeah. The crazy way I've gotten into ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I wasn't when I first started. It was just dibbing and dabbling. Just okay. Um, my kids asked me, "Daddy, who we are?" I was like, okay, I don't really know. All I know is my grandfather. I never got a chance to meet my grandfather. So what I did when I got my birth certificate, looked at my mom and my dad's birth certificate, then understood because when you go and you want to get these death certificates and things, they need dates and time.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out. So once I knew my uh, mom and dad, I was off from there.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined Ancestry. Then I joined other little things to verify, like archives, FamilySearch.org. FamilySearch.org actually is free. It's free to sign up. You have two locations you can go to. I think both of them out in Hoover. The Latter Day Saints. You go there if you want to start your genealogy, but just at least have the basics of your mom and dad. You know, their date and their birth. So I went from there. Um, with that, I started there, and I was like, wow. I never knew my grandfather was in World War One. Never knew. So, and then I never knew his father because I never got a chance to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
So once I met him, figure out him and his mom, I was off to the races. And from there, I swear I've been um, doing it diligently, finding out. Say, okay, well, damn, grandfather died in Tuskegee. So come to find out, he's part of Tuskegee experiment,
Mm-hmm.
the syphilis program. It's like, oh man, that's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, these people, this man served his country, was not allowed to get any benefits for going to war. Him and his brother, both was drafted, and then go to France, and then not be able to get the GI loan, get a house, or anything that should have been awarded to them. So, okay. All right. So my sister got an opportunity to meet my father. That was cool. And then she was telling me different things about my grandfather that I never knew. So come to find out, I contacted the Alabama National Archives, asked them questions. Um, you know, I have dates and I have names. I gave them to it, and you would not believe what I found out about when they sent it back to me.
It already
Um,
started. It already started.
the
Barbershop
most
Stories, the podcast.
critical thing that
So
I don't think that no one ever believed
about this history,
that
genealogy.
my third great grandfather was a Civil War general in the South.
So go ahead and like, share.
You know,
Go ahead with
that, and then come to find out,
Third grade.
third great grandfather was a Civil War general and was part President Glover Cleveland appointed him over Indian Affairs. So understanding that part, the Trails of Tears came about. So it's like, oh man, that's where the Great Migration. See, you know what I'm saying? That you go in through doing those things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Join y'all. Hey, welcome to another
So-
episode of Barbershop Story Podcast. Episode 115. I ain't mean to interrupt
Go
you,
ahead,
Brother T. I
baby.
know you be on it, man. But we're here. We got Brother Terrence here today. We're gonna talk about
Yes,
a little
sir.
bit, just a little bit about your history, a little about your gene pool. Who was who? What were they there for? What did they did? What did they do? I'm tripping now. How significant were they? You know, a lot of times we've been taught on history that we wasn't shit to the third power. Let's just be for real. But we know that's not true. There's a lot of greatness that lie within us. There's a lot of greatness all around us. And we're going to see about what Brother T talking about today. It's going to probably be a 2, maybe 3-part series because there's so much to cover. And we know we don't want to hold you too long, but we want to definitely get some of this info to you. I am comedic narrator Benny Mac. That is.
Hey, no nose. You know, we keep that info for you, man. We rocking out with T tonight, man. Always an interesting conversation when this fella fall through. Hey, hopefully y'all can find something that interests y'all and spark a little interest to make y'all go do a little gene searching. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
oh, yeah. And we
That's very important.
Yeah, and we got Brother T. We got Brother T right here too, man. So first off, let me see what Brother T. We'll get the proper introduction. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm Terrence.
they
Call
know
me
you-
T.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just here, man. You know what I mean? I'm just here. I'm just
Okay,
here
sir.
to try to, and let people know there is something behind doing your ancestry.
Hey,
There's opportunities. There's many opportunities to do research on your family because honestly, these people had wills. These people had land. Understand also too, during a lot of in the 1800s, we couldn't read. We couldn't go to school. So when you have land, you know what I'm saying, and they sold your property through tax lien, and you couldn't read and write, you put an X on it. You know, we know the Klan was heavy during that time. So they run you off your land, you don't never come back, and then they charge you. They take your land.
They take it, yeah.
And that's what a lot of it has been done, taken from us. And we don't go back, and then we don't go and do the research because we think it's hard. It's not hard. Everything is documented, and then when you're doing a title search on your land, if that deed has not properly transferred to its proper place, that land goes back to the original owner. I don't care what it is, because then after they become trespassers. That's your land. They can't take your land from you, especially if you was forced off your land. You know what I mean? And we knew the Klan was heavy in this area.
Yeah.
We knew that.
So let me ask you this though, T. One, what made you decide to say, man, let me look into this shit? And two, when you looked into it, how much have you found that was in your favor that your family had been missing out for years? What
Years.
inspired you, and what have you found since you started your search?
Oh man, so many things. Knowing that in every generation, you know, that we fought in every war in this country. Every war. I don't care. The American War, the Revolution War, the Mexican-American War, all of these wars that someone in our family fought.
yes, sir.
The biggest misnomer is everything was done by them folks. They couldn't have done it by themselves because they didn't have the numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the way about it is they tell the story, but we don't. We never tell our story. You go look in our books, they give us the most they give us Frederick Douglass, and then that's it. They don't give you the full story of what he really do. But everybody else, they glorify them.
But you know, T, I don't think that it's not that we don't tell our story. I just think that people don't look like our story is significant because you know the way that other people set up things in this country is almost like if it ain't published by one of my certified companies, it's bullshit. It's almost like our stories look like fiction. Which a lot of time they're not, because you
Not
got
validated.
you know what I'm saying? 'Cause
We
you
are the
gotta-
foundation. Think about this.
Well, I agree with you on that.
Everything, we are the foundation of this country. And this is so true, man. When the first colony landed here in Jamestown, which goes back to my history, they couldn't do it without us.
Mm-hmm.
They even go back when you have the first foreigner step in this country was with De Soto, and that was in St. Augustine, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He did a journey from Florida, St. Augustine, came up through Georgia, then went through Alabama, and the mounds right there in Moundville, and Chief Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa.
Yes, De Soto was that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I believe though, T, and I'm glad you actually was willing to come here and discuss some of your findings and stuff, because I know it take a little time, it take a little work.
Yeah.
But what I believe was, you know how they tell us that this country was founded by Columbus and all that. This is what I believe from the research that I know. I think that it was already running country just like it is today, but I think somebody came in and was like, man, that shit's sweet as hell. And they came in, and I think that's when the fuckery, the line, the deceit,
yes.
and then it just ended up just flipping.
Right.
Because there's no way the story that everybody came from Africa, if you really just think
That is
about
not
it,
true.
that's one of the biggest lies ever told.
Biggest.
Because it got you looking other places than what's already here. Going back to what you were saying about your folks got land and stuff that really, you really don't have to pay none of this stuff if you actually go in and do what's necessary.
You're right. For one, when it comes to ancestry, there's a lot of things that's hidden. You know, we know they kept records. That's why we have the census. The first census was 1790. Mm-hmm. So they've been documented. So when with Christopher Columbus, he's old news. He never made it. Before he's ever made it, Cuba, so he never made it to North America. Come to finding out, you know, part of the ancestry, I've learned about the different slave ships. 90% of the slave ships never came to North America. It went to Barbados, it went to Haiti, it went to San Domingo, it went to Brazil, everything's down south.
You know, a lot of them slave trades was intercontinental too.
I can tell you one company.
Yeah, moved some from the south to the north, and from the north
well,
to the south. You mix up your folks.
The what you call them, the Maroons.
Mm-hmm.
The Maroons fought them. So what they're trying to say is really how it works. If I go to war with you, you can't stay on the land. Your women and children can stay because we can rape and tell them anything. But you men, you got to get away from here, and that's where a lot of people don't understand that part when it's war. I'm gonna kill the men and I'm gonna rape the women and children, and I don't care who it is. The people that came here, they came here for fully with deception. De Soto, all he wanted was gold. Mm-hmm. You know. Why is it that you want? So that you got the Portuguese, then you got the Spaniards, then you leave the Spaniards, you got the French, then come the Dutch. Then after that, you got the English that comes behind that. That's when all the other stuff. But during those time periods, these countries was warring with one another. Europe was warring with one another. Who's going to gain power? You know, we're talking about the 14. Remember, and the 1400s, the Moors ruled Spain.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they were kicked out of Spain in what, 1452?
No, let me ask you this though. Let's just kind of, just turn the volume up on the conversation a little bit. All right. So with somebody like the Caucasoids that ran around with colonialism throughout the world, what do you think was going on so much within some of these places that they colonized that they were able to successfully colonize?
Kill the men.
Well, that's true, but I'm saying, before you kill the man, it had to be some type, because you got to remember, a lot of these brothers was warriors and stuff too.
Well,
what
I'm gonna put your behind on a ship.
No,
and I'm gonna send you away from here.
Well, no, I'm saying, but that's too simple. You didn't just come in and say, get on the ship and let's go.
Oh no,
You know what I'm saying? What do you think was going on within that allowed them to be able to take over?
I give you a perfect example. We always hear about Hannibal.
Yeah.
And the Carthaginians
North
the Carthaginians fighting the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
what you know, understand, you got other people who share the same territory. So we create they come in, give them, trinkets and stuff, and they align with them so they can go to war with other people. They propagize war with neighbors against neighbors. So they don't really care, so they not gonna fight nobody. What happens is they make tribes fight against one another. So once they are going to war and whatever, I come in and take over your land.
So basically, they come in with what they doing now, that same old good propaganda.
Yes.
You know that nigga Sam talking about whooping your ass. Look at him.
And don't even know him.
Domestic confusion.
Yes, and that's how they done it. And it's still done to this day.
And the reason why I ask that is because, a lot of stories, they give you surface stories or titles or headlines when they be like, we were mistreated, we were doing wrong. Well, I know that. But me and my research is that what was going on, and the reason why I say this is because I like to compare it to the day. When you're looking at a lot of calamity, neighborhood beef and all that, it's easy for somebody to come in and take over because all they got to sound like is they got a solution.
Right.
You want to stop that nigga Sam? You want to break that nigga Sam up? Boom.
I give you another perfect example. I don't know much about Africa, but I hear a lot of stuff. They have a lot of tribalism. Tribe fighting tribes. You know what I'm saying? Groups fighting different groups. So instead of like we, as Black Americans, we don't give a shit about what tribe you come from. It don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? We vibe. They don't mess with one another because of you from this tribe or that tribe. So it's easy for an outsider to come in with trinkets and say, I'm your partner and we trade together, and then come up with a story and say, hey, I'm beefing with old dude, you know what I'm saying? You're going to help me go fight him. But they know that their intentions is to take over the land in the first place, take its resources.
But you know what I believe too, though? This just to throw something out there. This is my hypothesis, but I believe it to be true. I think that every race on this planet has its time. Like the Asians, I think they gonna have their time. I think the whites, I think the blacks had their time. But with that being said, is that sometimes when you got so much power, regardless of what race you are, you start mistreating your own people. So when you start mistreating your own people, going back to what you said, is that, that nigga Sam ran and didn't fuck the wife. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Next thing you know,
that's
we
beef.
And I think that black people, I think we're great. I think we're superior, not superior, but I think we're great people. But I think that sometimes so much power and so much everything accessible to you, I think you tend to take shit for granted. But the people who were suffering out them Caucasus Mountains, they came down. I'm
gonna help you out with that one. The research I've done, it was black on black crime in Europe. Yeah. It was black on black crime. If you think about the Stuarts, the Queen Charlotte, Queen Anne, and all of these, Robert the Bruce, all of these things, you got to understand. These people was melanated people. The Vikings, they was melanated people during this time. Because if there was not a problem, then you had the Moors, the black Moors, who was in Spain, and that's right around the corner from Europe. So you have the religious part of it. You have an Islamic part of it, and you have a Christian part of it. And so you got the Portuguese. You can look it up now. If it wasn't not all about the Portuguese, still got a prince. You got a Portuguese prince to this day. So it's still there. The monarchy, the hierarchy, all that stuff is still there. But then you still have what I call black on black crime. And then that's where you have built alliances and say, hey, listen, I got 50 guys. You're going to help me go fight this guy. You know what I mean? We're going to win, and we're going to take something from this, and then we'll divide the spoils of war, which is what they do in all wars. They take the land, they pull the resources, and then they use it for themselves. But they don't trickle down to the people who need it the most. Yeah. That's what a lot of things that happens. It's like, hey man, why we got black on black crime? You're just because you someone wearing the same color, or it might not be the same. You're not the same. Yeah. And I could put it to you as this way. When other people come here that looks like us, they don't align with us. They don't go to our neighborhood. They don't come in our neighborhood and build with us. They go out elsewhere because what they look at it like, we don't take advantage of our situation because our situation is so good, and then why are we complaining? We're not complaining. We just ain't taking them folks shit. You know what I'm saying? So they align. They there's a lot of times when you know, black folks ain't never took nothing from nobody. Ain't out here causing wars. But you gotta understand, a lot of times when people come here, they have, vitriol against us. And we ain't done shit. We ain't started no war. We ain't went and colonized your nation.
But do you think that there's an understatement that's saying we never took nothing? And the only reason why I'm saying is just, for conversational purposes, is that for a person to want what you got, as far as power, kingdoms, all that, you did some ass kicking and some stealing and some killing. You had to be.
Well,
you might have not been as brutal, but I think that when people see you doing something, they tend to be a little bit more brutal than you. You think that could have been the case too?
You got to understand with us as Black Americans. This is one thing we have to deal with: the Klan. Mm-hmm. We have to deal with racism.
Yeah, I agree.
We have to deal with redlining. Yeah. We have to deal with so much, and we have. Think about all the towns and all the things that we tried to build that they destroyed.
Well, yeah.
Look at Lake Lanier.
I totally agree with you. Lake Lanier and several others.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ocala, Florida.
But I'm saying though, I agree. But just for the other side of it is that, do you think the people who wanted to take it from the people who was already on, do you think they learned some of the stuff from the people that they took it and just was more brutal? Because sometimes, let's just say somebody because really a lot of people in this country was really prisoners of war. So when you think
indentured servants, prisoner of war, you're right about
war. So that's what I'm saying. For somebody to say, I got to keep my foot on T neck, that means I know T will kick my ass if I let him.
But that's fear. That's all it is.
So
it's fear.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that
it's fear.
Some of the traits, I think that everybody in power did some brutal shit, absolute power.
But you got to understand who your enemy is too. Anytime even if you go back and we look at the beginning of this nation, and we all feel the same way about, hey, if you're hungry, we're gonna feed you. We, you know what I'm saying? But then you got some people who don't have good intentions when you do have good intentions.
I agree.
And that's what us as black folks here have always, we don't care where you come from. Hey, listen, hey, we're going to fuck with you. That's why they come, the first place they come to our neighborhoods and set up shop. Even though they don't mess with us, even though they treat our women like crap, look at your hair salons. Half of them come here, we mess with them.
I think,
you know what I mean? But then look how they treat us.
But I think there's two. I don't think. Now this is just my opinion, I'm Sagittarius. I believe it to be fact though. But I don't think they just come to black neighborhoods. I think they're lured to black neighborhoods. They're directed to black neighborhoods. Because if you really think about it, what will make somebody from Cambodia, North Cambodia, or East Turkestan, or motherfucking Lebanon say, you know what? Let's move to Baby Kingston. Let's move to West End. Because you got to think, when you watch the news,
that's all you hear is bad.
Other states, they don't want to come here.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me a nigga from Cambodia say, you know what, let's go set our shop in East Lake? No, somebody directed.
Of course.
That's a constructive effort. I don't think that just happened that way.
It's intentional. That's intentional. When we dealing with the government says, in our city councilmen, they say certain things like, we need to provide some form of businesses in these areas, so we can probably help revenue or bring revenue to our district. So you got to understand, everything is about money. I don't care what it is. Everything is about money. So they come in your area to do the business where they can set up to where it's, okay, well, the tax is not expensive on this side of town. So I can still sell to other people that's not here, that might not come here to, because established, I got low taxes, I can still operate. And so,
Low or no?
yeah, lower, right, yeah,
I'm
it's an
getting no,
incentive.
I'm getting
Yeah, and I understand that part.
Yeah.
But, but don't come to our neighborhoods and then treat us like shit.
But
Like
the
we
thing,
don't exist.
But the thing is, though, it's like I don't be defending folks. I'm just a fair person and try to look at it from both sides. You got some people who said, "Hey, bro, come over here. We're gonna straighten your folks out." All you heard was, "Sam, them be stealing, them niggas be robbing, them niggas be that, them black ass niggas with this." That's all you hear. So when I set up the shop, I don't think they really be trying to mistreat you. I think they don't know you.
Right.
Because if you
Stereotype.
Because being foul, most of them that I done frequented a lot and started to know them, they really just like us. It's just you got to think about. They're just like if they say we finna see the North Korea. What you heard about North Korea? Kim Jong Un, he'll cut your head off, cut your feet off.
Right.
But you may go over there and be like, damn, these motherfuckers ain't nothing like what described. Because we do know propaganda
Plays
will
a
mess
big
up
right,
any mindset, man.
and they do run everything runs off of propaganda,
Big time.
and destruction and deception. You're absolutely right on that part.
I do believe you got some low down ones.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I can't honestly just being foul say that I've been just mistreated.
Right. But think about the other people who have, though. Who
Yeah.
have, and the way I can see it is,
A lot of that shit be struck up too, man.
It's
black
big
folk, we'll
propaganda.
go in them folks shit and cut up now.
But we do, man.
Kick shit all over and then expect them folk to just bow and let her walk out
Well,
the door.
but you know what? You know
Shit,
what's
they-
gonna happen
they got that pride too.
when you turn people's stuff over. You know what's gonna happen.
What
The consequences is.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. And not like saying, in all fairness, it is someone with nasty attitude.
Yeah, it is.
But most of them, they like, damn, K1 pretty big old ass dude. I ain't finna try him. But you sitting there like, hey, man, pick my shit up. Man, get my motherfucking cigarello. Hop scene, shit. And, you know what I mean? You gotta think about it. We motherfucking human too, man.
I'll give
Hop
you-
scene. Hey, man. Hey, give my motherfucking bill.
Yeah.
I cuss your ass out too.
Well, I give you a perfect example what my experience was. The car wash down on Centerport Highway, down by Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think it is, whatever. You know, the little car wash. So I pulls in, finna vacuum my car, and then go through the car wash. This lady comes up to me, and she says some more nastier stuff. You need to pay. The fuck you mean? I'm vacuuming my car. You need to pay before you do that. I was like, if you don't pay, you gotta leave. I said, well, shit, I got no choice. You didn't have to come at me talking to me crazy, lady. You know what I'm saying? You handle this here. You come and talk to me. Don't scream at me because I probably slap the shit at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, niggas
So,
going for a fine slap.
you know, because you don't even know me, right? And then I'm over here trying to patronize you, and then you're trying to be ugly when you don't gotta be.
Just explain what
You know
the
what I
process
mean?
is.
Oh yeah, you got them out
So
there too.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's I judge people by their actions.
Yeah.
Boy, and then we got our people here too, bro. They'll shortcut you, boy, because I definitely got shortcutted.
Yeah,
Man, I got caught up in a lot of weird stuff. But for the most part, I'm more geared into building a team to show people how important it is to do the ancestry.
Yeah.
You would gain so much more. My family designated me for this family reunion coming up to be the historian, to do the research, for the family, to find out everything I can because we there's so many things that going on. Yeah. I helped one guy, he didn't even know he was adopted.
But you consider that, right?
What?
Adjuster. I ain't saying it in a bad way,
Yeah.
but people don't know that. You know how everybody be making fun like the Jester, he was just this. No, the Jester was the guy. He or she was coming relief, but there was also the person that carried the information.
Yes.
And it was the ones who carried the information throughout.
Yes, sir.
That's why a lot of tribes and stuff now, they always have like a messenger. Like a wise person or whatever.
Wise.
Yeah, they carried all the
all
what people call secrets and knowledge and culture.
Yeah,
and
just like
traditions.
a lot of people here in Alabama, Mississippi, You have the Cherokee, you have the Chickasaw, you have the Choctaw, you have the Creek, and you have the Natchez. All of these people, you gotta the Creek in Indian War. You know what I'm saying? That's tribes on tribes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We call them in, and then now we come to 5 civilized tribes. What do you mean the 5 civilized tribes? Chickasaw, Choctaw. So then,
They're the ones that took them government
that's there you go.
Yeah,
Them
I
the
already know.
ones
I already
that
know.
aligned with the government that allow other people to claim heritage. We call it the $5 Indian.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's a lot of that going on.
yeah, it's a lot of that. So what they're actually doing, if you don't claim your heritage, someone else gonna do it for you. And
Especially when it's tied to some land and some
well,
rights. And
because it already is
Resources.
Because think about it, we keep hearing this thing. They're giving our resources, our tax dollars, monies to people who don't live here, who are actually illegal immigrants. How long are we gonna think that's gonna last? That's not gonna last long. And so they're taking your tax dollars, your hard-earned money, and giving it to someone else.
But
When we're asking for our ancestor payment for work that was rendered that was never given.
But I think that's all intentional too, though. Because see, one thing about it that I had to come to realize in this country, they ain't gonna give you shit.
Well,
But if you do learn the game, you can thrive very well in this thing.
and I'm glad you said that.
So it's like when people talk about the immigrants, I ain't mad at them.
No.
I'm mad at the people that's put in place that's saying like how they be saying we got sanctuary cities.
Yes, sir.
It's like how
That's
you say-
intentional.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
That's
I think
intentional.
a lot of this stuff is intentional because it keep us in the uproar.
Well, all right. Once you're part of a tribe, right? You're entitled to you can. There's 2 ways. You can be a member, or you can be a full-fledged member. There's levels to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If like for instance, they call it the Dobbs Road. You can go and look these things up. I encourage anybody to go to, if they don't have the money to pay Ancestry, go to FamilySearch.org. It's free, it's local, and then you have someone that at these research centers can help you get started as well. If you don't know where to start, and also too, they got what they call National Endowment. There's a grant program for that, and with the National Endowment Program, they give a grant of $60,000. In other words, they'll give you $5,000 a month to do your ancestry research. And I'm like, hey man, that's free money. You can get a chance to make your mark on the history. And for me, I look at it as I have a story to tell that I never knew, and I'm starting to gather everything I can gather. So I'm starting writing a book. I took my daughter, sent my daughter to damn film school, and so we're trying to collaborate and so we can start doing that. Because if I can get a grant and she can get a grant, that's $10,000 a month that we're working on the same project to learn more about our family history. And so it's something I think a lot of, especially people who said, look, there's a lot of people, I'm on government assistance, right? Well, if you're on government assistance, if you can get yourself to a point to where you can apply for these different grants, that's not income. That's someone giving you money.
Mm-hmm.
So sitting around doing nothing, watch TV, take your kids to the library. The library is free. If you go to any Birmingham library, and you can go there, they have so much research. You can go and create a ancestor account for free.
Williams Barbershop Stories podcast episode 115. We're sitting here with bro Terrence talking about this genealogy, history, family, and a whole bunch of other miscellaneous things associated with it. Now back to you, T. Okay. Now let me ask you this: Now with Ancestry.com, is that the one you have to do like a swab or a sample?
Well, all right, let's put
Because-
this.
and the
That-
reason-
y- y- well,
the reason-
Ancestry, 23andMe, and all these other companies, you doing the swab, that's DNA.
No.
What it's not going to tell you about your true ancestry. Your true ancestry is documentation.
Yeah, the reason why I was asking is because I was about to say them folk been hit with lawsuits and shit. Saying
they
that,
entertainment
that stuff-
purpose only.
Yeah, it was fake. Basically, like saying
Right.
they getting your DNA
And put it in storage
yeah,
bank.
and they,
Yeah.
and they kind
Right.
of getting you on some other ends.
So they
Right,
ain't got no
and they
DNA
use
from
and they
them folks
use
back then,
and they
huh?
use no.
Exactly.
So you got to dig them up. So the only and the best way is through documentation. I keep telling.
I agree
I
with
told
you
my
on that.
daughter. I said, "What the world? Listen. From what these people told her when I showed my daughter took the DNA test, right? She said, Dad, we come from Africa. I said, that ain't true. I said, that ain't
Supposed
true,
to tell
man.
your ass anything.
I said, that ain't true. I said, I'm going to show you in writing where you come from. You're native to this land and you come from Europe. And I'll tell her when people from Europe was coming here, they was coming here as indentured servants. They came on the Mayflower. I got instances. They called this ship called the Hannibal. My ancestor was the slave ship owner.
Hannibal was the old
Yeah.
military.
Yeah, the one that fought against Rome.
Mhm.
Right, Carthaginians.
North African, yeah.
Yes. So I said, listen, that ain't true. I said, what happened was there was wars that was going on. These people didn't come to America. They went to Barbados. And then you had some people who was shipped who refused to be a slave or whatever. They killed themselves. They jumped over the sea, and it's clear in writing. You got to understand, when it comes to maritime shipping, people insured.
Yeah.
You
of course.
understand? So
you got documentation.
so that cargo has to get to its place safely. If that cargo does not get there, the insurance that they put on that cargo got to be paid out on that policy, and that's how all that stuff is going. You have all of these companies. Everything is done by charter. Everything. You can't ship manifest anywhere in the country if it's not insured. Your cargo is insured on that ship because they understand from going from point A to point B and you using that water, that's anything bound to happen. I want to insure my cargo so that I don't have to pay for it myself. So you got to understand, a lot of things had to do with indentured servants.
They're discussing that now about
yeah.
that cargo
Yeah.
when that ship hit the boat, the
Yeah.
bridge up north.
Yes.
They talking about who's supposed to be responsible. The insurance
The
company,
insurance
the
company.
boat, the company that actually
Insured.
transport the stuff.
Yeah.
They trying to
Man,
divide that blame
kids
up.
probably-
You know
probably
what I'm saying?
know.
Yeah.
You know exactly.
Yeah, everything is done by maritime law.
Yeah.
Everything. I don't care what you ship. The oil that go from one point A to point B, it's done through maritime, and it has to be insured. So, me as a businessman, if I'm shipping slaves, I want to make sure my cargo is straight. You
Covered,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I don't take no loss,
Mhm.
and that's what's happened. You have all of these different everything, man. I don't even know how to tell you that's it. Most
let 'em use it. Let 'em
most
use it.
things that you got to understand. A lot of your records is in your churches.
Yeah, the ones that didn't burn down.
All that's still
It made sense about why a
They
lot of
had-
time they went around burning down them churches because it killed records.
because it has records in there that they know they need to destroy because you can have, like I said, when you have the first census was in 1790, 1810, 1820, 1840, you know what I'm saying? It was going on and on. So what the records is dictate, are you a farmer or you a slave? I got some stuff in there. I'm gonna show you some. Now, tell me this. I'm gonna show you this real quick. How you gonna have?
Oh, shit, he done broke out a manila folder. Barbershop Stories Podcast, episode 115. We ain't never had a nigga break out a manila folder. Now back to you, T. Okay.
What I'm saying, tell you different white people, slaves and stuff. Different slaves.
Tell you all the way down to the number.
Yes, sir. See, that's what you'll find on the census report. Everything that you need to know: who was free, who was not free, how many black slaves, how many white slaves. So it wasn't just black people that was being enslaved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, I think, you familiar with Dane Calloway?
Oh yeah, I'm very, very familiar with Dame.
Dane Calloway, I like him, man. He was just talking about how history's been told in reverse.
In reverse, and he's absolutely
lying.
right about that.
He
He
lying.
absolutely are right about how they has been stealing your legacy, your inheritance. It was like my man said. When we was fighting against the Indians, we was rooting for the Cowboys. It was us that was the Indians that we was not rooting for. You understand? You have the red tribe, you have the black tribe. You got to understand all of these different wars. When Europeans got here, they had to have permission. They had to have permission letter to travel from point A to point B.
Yeah, they had 50 years according to some documentation with the Moors.
Well, I'm talking about here in this.
Well,
land.
no, that's what I'm talking about. In this country, they had a 50-year agreement to do bartering and trading, and they're supposed to got the hell on.
That's part of John Hanson thing where he came up before, say, the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776, correct? Mm. So you got to say 17. Before that, 1776, he was already in charge, and there was more people that was presidents or people of the Confederate. We already had the Confederate.
The Confederate States
yeah,
of America.
yeah. And so, whereas they had after the war, there was no United States of America.
No,
that hadn't been established.
It was
So it was the Confederate. Right, right. And so after the war, the soldiers said, "Hey, listen here, man. After war, man, I need to get my money, bro. I need to get my money." They're like, "Yo." So there was going to be after the war, it was going to be a mutiny. So what John Hanson did, which is crazy for me, he ordered all foreign soldiers off the soil. Remove any soldier that fought for the independence of the United States of America. He ordered them all, and he made sure that no foreign flag would fly in this country before George Washington took office. See, we wasn't taught. I mean, we would have a different perspective if we had known something like that. Well, why are you going to say George Washington? No, he was the first president of the United States, but he was never the first president of this country, of this land.
I'm sure I'm gonna throw a stick in the tie too. Now we'll come back on part 2 for this. I read some maybe 2 weeks ago, and it's a lot of writings and a lot of narratives that people wrote, and it described George Washington as a tall black dude.
Abraham Lincoln as well.
Yeah, they described George Washington as a tall black dude,
and Benjamin Franklin as a indigent servant.
But they, but of course, like you said, they flipped it and made them heroes and made them look like Caucasians.
They was deplorables.
And the thing about those, I wanted to catch y'all on that slavery comment before we got so far, but to rewind that a little bit about the whites, it was different people were slaves. I think it is a misconception that only blacks were slaves in this country. It is a misconception, but it's not a misconception that the slaves that were treated the worst was black. So that we don't want to get that confused that everybody was slave, white, Chinese, such, but they weren't getting their ass beat and tortured
and they weren't
like niggas. That's the point. That's the point.
Walter Plecker, the Racial Integrity Act, which was at 1866. That's when they kicked it in full gear. The one-drop rule. With the one-drop rule, it's like, hey, man, if you got any admixture, hey, man, I take another one. Any admixture of black in you, you're black. That's the whole concept, because people 9 times out of 10, pretty much agree with You know, people are people. You know what I'm saying? They got movies. They got so many stories, so many books on the people who actually lived the life or lived during that time. And so, one thing about what Ancestry does, man, it takes you to a whole nother journey. Um, Not knowing that's like, hey, man, listen, man, how in the fuck you get a grandfather in the become a general in the Civil War? Nobody knows about that.
Yeah.
Nobody in your family. So what it is that after our great grandfather, some of us get a chance to meet them, but never get to know who our third, fourth great grandfather was, because it was documented, but not in our favor. You understand? So understand. The whole part about it is they have wills, they have trust funds. Once you understand about that part, understand what wealth they held, you probably could be, you know what I'm saying? That's what we got, what we call, um, people say, well, I got a trust fund, right? Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. I got a trust fund. So how you think you're going to get that trust fund? Mm-hmm. You got to prove that you are heir to that to that trust fund. That trustee is holding that money too, and which is into somebody's bank.
So let me ask you this though. Curious part, when we go to talk about trust funds and stuff that was passed in law and all that kind of stuff, one thing that sticks out to me, probably one of the most interesting, was the 40 acres and a mule. Now, it passed Congress, Senate, the whole nine, like boom. You owe them this.
Yeah.
So how did it come to a point where it was never paid out? And
redlining.
It's a two-part. It was never paid out. So now we go to talking about genealogy and knowing our history and all that, which I think is extremely important. All right. So even when everybody comes to the knot and say, man, that down there where Regions Bank sit on, them my folks shit. How do you get that back when you got to go through them same people that's still upholding the same court system?
Well, we're talking about land ownership. We're talking about wills, deeds.
I agree.
You understand? Those things you can research yourself.
No. I'm not discounting that you can't research it, but it's like if K1 right now. Shout out to Z-Lens Media as well. K1 mess around, find out that he got 200 acres. That's, let's just say, in the middle of Florida on Walt Disney Land. How do you go about, even though you can file the papers and all that, how do you truly enforce it without war?
Well,
because the people who done this had no intention on saying, I'm going to let you vote me out. They came in with force and killing. Do you think it'll take equal or greater force to get it back, or just...
I'm going to put it to you this way. Do you remember maybe about 2-3 years ago, this family found out they own some beachfront property in California, and then they went through the court system.
What was that beach called? I know what you're talking about, though.
Not Santa Monica.
Nah, was it Hollywood Beach? Or, no. I know exactly what you're talking about, though. The family got it after about 100 years.
So guess what happened, though?
They sold it back.
Well, they had to sell it back because they didn't have the money, because they didn't have the money to develop, and they couldn't really do too much with it. You know what I'm saying? So it made it much easier for them, which is, you know how lawyers are. You know how the people say, well, man, look here, man, we might get $100 million off of this here. We know they think it's worth more than that. If we get the land, we can't develop it anyway. So we might as well just go ahead on. We're gonna sell it because it ain't a trust fund. It's you know, it's not individual will to want to. So how are we gonna benefit from it as a family? Let's go ahead on. They already there. Let's sell it to them, and we can split the money. We still get our piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you know you have the like someone in my family, they was part of the Patterson Land Grant. In 1851, their property value, I don't know how. In 1851, it was $35,000. So $35,000, that's a lot of, you know what I'm saying?
Land for that age.
Yeah, and then they had a plantation. They had a plantation they on that plantation, they sold some land to the government, which started Emory University in Georgia.
That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
So
I can only imagine the stories that's out there that's just untold, or we just haven't ran across yet.
yeah,
'Cause a
they're-
lot of them
very
are being
interesting.
we
told,
don't. Yeah, we like. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I only live 20 minutes from Emory University, and I never knew my fourth grandfather was the architect of Emory University and owned the plantation.
Yeah. K1 got a question for you.
How do we go, you mentioned documenting everything. How do we get in that right direction with the internet and everything is a little twisted up on there?
I started in the beginning. For me, I started my birth certificate. Want to know? Because when you go and say, "Hey, man, I need legal document, need documentation." So what I did was go get my mom birth certificate. So because I have hers and all her information and my dad. So got their birth certificate. So now I got my grandfather and I got my grandmother's birth certificate. From there, so now I felt okay. So I called I reached out to Alabama Archives. I had them to do some research for me. So when they came back and they started telling me different things that was going on with my family and where I needed to go from there. So once I went there, it was off to the races. I went to the library, got a library card, and I started doing research. Going to the library, looking up different books. In your research, they're going to send you hints. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get hints. And it's up to you to do your due diligence to find out, to ask family members. If you got somebody who's older than you or know a little bit more about the family, ask them. They're going to provide some information that is very valuable. My sister, I would never know to look for my grandfather as part of being at the Tuskegee experiment if my sister hadn't told me. So then I started digging a little deep. I want to order his military records, so I ordered his military records. Come to find out, he died in Tuskegee in 1960.
And that's part of what I was talking about. When I was younger, middle school, my dad, when he was in the Marines, he actually played for the Harlem Globetrotters. Uniform, all family members said it.
Right.
But when I go back for their history, I don't see his name anywhere.
But you know something, Sam? K1 built up like old Harlem Globe. It look like you just.
Hey,
look like
you go to that. This is my thing. You know that he was part of the Harlem Globetrotters. So they have records. They have documentation. So find out what year that he played. And then now you got a name. You can do more research. The different library, like I said, FamilySearch.org is for free. You got, oh my God, man, I ain't told y'all about the good part about all these different societies out here that will help you do the research. Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off, but find out the year. All right? And my thing is, I even go to grave sites. That's documentation right there.
Yeah.
You understand? You know where someone's buried at? Don't you know you can upload that to your family tree?
But you know what's so crazy about it? You know, I love this conversation, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm looking forward to part two. My father, he's extremely interested in that. He's what?
And we should build a team.
How old he is? He's 62, yeah, because we're 18 years apart. He's 62, and he do a lot of that. And he told us something about our history, man, and said that down in Seal, Alabama, that's around Phoenix City.
Selma? Okay,
so
see.
that's around.
Oh,
now
shit.
my mother and them side is from the Selma, Camden, Dallas County area. My grandfather on my father's side, well, he died back in 04, 05. They were like Seal, Alabama, Phoenix City, Alabama, all that area. I can't think of the name of the county. It'll come to me in a minute. But he was saying that it was a whole bunch of land in the family. Then all of a sudden it got gone.
You see?
But see, he's in the real estate. So he was like, he found and saw all the time
Land grants.
the name changed to different family members. And I'm sure knowing him, he's still on it. Then he was like, he also told me one thing that kind of, it didn't bother me, but it almost felt like some ancestral type shit. He was
Yeah.
like, when blacks got released in late 1800s,
18.
he was like, blacks
what?
used to just be like wandering, going. And he was like,
Headed to the north.
The Klan and folks would just come down and kill him and leave him on the side of the street. And I don't know if it was his third
Lot
or
of hate.
fourth
Lot of
grandfather, but he was like, he got killed like that. And he was like, man, it was interesting, man.
Check this out. I know another thing you can
Story
do.
about him.
If you know the story and you got the timeline, I guarantee you go look in old newspaper articles, you'll find the story.
Yeah, I agree, but you just got to be willing to do it.
Hey,
You got to take
it's
interest. You got to have
right.
interest. to do it.
It's definitely, man. Listen, I tell all black people, if we don't tell our stories, someone else gonna continue to tell lies about us. We have a very unique history in this country.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? We are the foundation of the country. Because if it wasn't for our family members, there would not be the United States of America.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, and then, you know, like when everybody go to talking about reparations, in my opinion, what we're talking about is very vague. But be honest with you, you can just start from Jim Crow. If you just started from now, you'll solve a lot of shit. But I think that with black people, and even though I know we're not technically black, but I'm gonna use it as a term because that's what a lot of people understand it as.
Yeah.
With black people, we have so many different kind of black folk. You got the black folks who grew up with white people who gonna see it different. You got the black folks from different parts of the world who gonna see it different.
Yeah.
Then you got black people who experience that's gonna see it different.
Let's put it this way.
So before we get to the man of the problem,
let's put it this way.
You gotta
Okay,
get through your clique.
well then let's do it like this here.
I'm gonna give you my pop info too.
Their information about we have immigrants, we have people who come for opportunity. They have not aligned with it. We as black Americans, we know when someone, we know a brother when we see a brother.
Yeah.
We can identify someone coming from a different country. Because listen, they mimic us. We don't mimic them. We don't try to be like white folks, most of us.
Yeah,
we
no,
try to
some
stay.
extent.
I said most of us.
Yeah, that was it.
Most of us.
Yeah.
You understand?
Some of them niggas around
24.
there.
I mean, but you got white folks that emulate you. They stole your music.
No. That's what I'm saying in reference to.
Yeah.
They emulate us.
Yeah, more than you emulate them.
Of course.
You are the coach.
You see it.
You understand? It's all around us. All right. The most part of it, we have people who fought for us, who told us. We got our Martin Luther Kings. We got our Stokely Carmichaels. You understand? We got our Medgar Evers. We got our Martin Luther King. But can you show me anywhere around the world that someone else can produce those type of people that really fight against the system, that taught us to fight against the system, not to give up? We're the only culture that really, you know what I'm saying, that's lacking because we have been bombarded with television, being fed and being happy.
Yeah.
The most part of it is if we can just, for the most part, instead of letting our kids sit in there and watch video games and TV all day, take them to the library.
Yeah.
Let's do more family gap. I don't even know where this shit come from, bro. I started a trivial game when I get with my family members to ask them questions. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
to try to get them more and more
like
involved.
my pop with that.
You understand?
He did that over the last criminal.
Yeah.
Ask about the family name.
Yeah. Where's the origin? Where you get your name? How you get your name? Those things, man. Those. Yeah. So somebody has to tell our truth. We can't rely on someone else because my family might not go through what your family go through.
Yeah.
So we have to have, and I think every family should have someone who's really trying to trace the tree, and then be able to let everybody know. Because, listen, man, I never thought that my family was a part of the foundation of this country. Never. In a million years. Yeah. But then once I found out myself, I've been blown away, and to knowing, to understand about the Freemans, understand about what Frederick Douglass, where he came from. He came from that Virginia area, that Maryland area. So then that's like, yo, maybe that's a correlation. Come to find out that I've gone back, taking my ancestry all the way back to the 1400s. And then you know what you find when you come off that. You can see people on a manifest on a slave ship and see where they come from. That's
powerful.
Yeah. Now you know what I'm saying. You's like, yo, you know. I mean, I'm just speaking from my perspective.
Shit, I think that's most people's story if they look it up.
Yeah.
Most people.
You know, and we always hear this. They're like, yo. Most of us, we buy into this narrative that all of us come from Africa. That's not always true.
No.
My second grandfather was called a mulatto. Look up the term, mulatto. That means a mixed race.
Yeah.
So, god damn, what? Mixed race? What the hell? I ain't got.
And this shit ain't just started.
Yeah.
But I think it's power in separating people. So that's why, like, you know, the same guys who called them barbarics and monkeys and all.
They was the ones.
So goddamn getting
them the one. Them the ones.
Cheering about it.
Because listen, let me tell you something. We know we have a dominant gene, and then we have a weak gene. The dominant genes always come out, and then our spirit, you know what I'm saying, always come out. Listen, because number one, as Black Americans, we have learned to go without. I honestly, man, I can remember when my mama, you know, my mama and them was farmers and all this here. They was growing up. They said they got to be in the field. We got to pick peas. I remember myself being out there picking peas with her. I didn't understand the importance of picking peas because that ain't what I want to do. But you can best believe now I will go out there and pick a pea, or corn, or okra.
Understand the value.
The value, because number one, if we had stayed farmers, man, we would have been able to feed the world.
Yeah.
Because we want to shine and all this other stuff. Bruh, go back, get you a farm, start feeding yourself, then you don't have to worry about being poisoned. You grow your own crop, you grow your own chickens, you can get an egg from a chicken every day. I understand the value. Listen, they've taught us that we need money to survive. That's not true.
That's true.
You don't need money to survive. What you need is a community to get together and y'all pull resources together. Nobody needs anything.
That was part. Now you rewinding to what Ben said. You rewinding to why the separation was so important, because you know what I'm saying. You divide to conquer. You know what I'm saying, because the power was staying together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm leaning on you for this. You leaning on me for that. You know what I'm saying. So I think that was one of the biggest reasons for dividing up the familiarity.
Yeah.
You know, even if everybody was blood or just close neighbors, you know what I'm saying? They were. You wasn't coming. You probably wasn't coming in a neighborhood full of people who cared for each other and doing certain stuff either. You know, you wasn't coming into a town full of people that loved each other and actually were together and doing certain things. You know what I'm saying? So you had to divide.
And you see that fast forward now to let you know it was a constructed effort. Because
Yes,
you know how people mention about the man couldn't stay in the project with the woman and all that.
Oh yeah, man.
But just think about what position, like people. I hate when people blame stuff that they weren't a part of during that era, because there had to be a hard decision for a woman with 4-5 children, and be like, hey man, hey, if you keep Sam out, we'll feed and house your children.
Let me help you on that part right there.
That's a hell of a decision.
Let me tell you the part on that. What happened is we're calling the Fair Housing Act on that part. Well, I think that came into play in the 70s. Or somewhere in the 70s, maybe somewhere in there.
Early 70s.
Okay. So if I take this man out this house, I'll give you an extra $50 a month if you remove this man from the house, but not understanding the man says, shit, I ain't got to give you shit. I'm going up north. That's where the great migration comes in at. We start going north, going to Detroit, going to Chicago, taking these different jobs, but forgetting about our women down here. So now, when Uncle Sam come in, look, you can't have that man in the house. The man like, fuck that, I ain't got nothing to do with that. So he leaves. He starts a new family, but she's still stuck here. But not understanding that you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for not taking care of your kids because these people, they needed you to protect them, but now they don't have you to protect them. Now the system can do whatever the fuck they want to do to our family. In the project, they're in jail.
Yeah.
Because they got so many rules and regulations. You gonna tell me, instead of saying that, listen, hey man, stay here, y'all build together, we'll help you get a house, we'll help you with this here, so y'all stay a family. I'd rather separate your ass, tell you you're a deadbeat, tell your woman he ain't shit, tell she ain't shit, and her kids is running wild, when all the time it's done by design. To destroy and take away from the family structure. But I do believe, my brother, in due time, because of us getting together, talking, we will, eventually, change the narrative.
Yeah.
Well,
because more of
it's
us
changing.
because more and more us are like, yo, I ain't no motherfucking deadbeat. I'm not no deadbeat father. I never want to be a deadbeat father, but I understand the system.
But see, the individual narrative is the scapegoat for the system in that case. Because you got to look at it. Bennett stay in that house. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up in the 80s where there were families in the project.
Yeah.
My dad and mama, everybody stayed in there, and dad was getting up going to work just like they stayed in a house in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Bennett stayed in that house, took care of his family. Mm-hmm. Such and such stayed in the house with his family. He might not have been worth a damn or the model father or husband or boyfriend, baby dad, whatever you want to call it. He is the one they're going to use for the example of what not to be. Yeah. You ain't going to tell me it's some business over there taking care of their family. You're going to tell me it's some of these niggas over here that ain't doing the damn thing. So that's where the focus and the lens going to go.
The focus and the
so,
focus
at that point, individual responsibility became the system scapegoat.
Yes, sir. And
because now the system can say, we ain't doing that. That nigga just sorry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, what I'm saying? He ain't got to address the fact that Bennett in the next door taking care of his damn family.
Now let me ask y'all this though.
They love a lot of horror stories.
Now let me ask y'all this though, since you mentioned that. Do you think it's as bad as they say it is, or do you think those examples are amplified so much that it looked like everybody following up on it?
I think they're amplified. Because if it was bad as they said it is, we wouldn't be able to live around here.
Well, it's called propaganda.
We wouldn't be able to live if it was that bad.
For one, I think personally, we as black men, we do love our kids.
Yeah.
We do care about.
As far as I see.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most of us.
Most niggas I know ain't sorry.
The narrative part about it is where they use their influences within the telecommunication network, the media resources to amplify our horror stories versus than our feel-good stories. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They really never... this is one thing that I really, really, really mess with me. We have kids that are real gifted in any subject or whatever. What the system does for me, they say, hey, we understand this child here is he's a little special over here. Then we're going to go to your parents and tell your parents, we can do better. We can guide him in a better direction. We're going to put you on this other side of town. So we're going to move you over there, get you a house, and then we're going to own, you know what I'm saying, part of what we put in. We're going to get something out of him.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of keeping our talent in our neighborhoods and nurturing our kids, we send them over to them folks, man.
But I can understand why, though. I'm gonna tell you,
opportunity.
But yeah, because like I'm not saying that I agree, but me being a barber for so long is like like me, I stay technically what they call the hood.
Mm-hmm.
So every night, fire department, pow, pow, pow for nothing, all at 6, 7 o'clock in the day. Matter of fact, just last week, somebody dropped some mattresses and box springs shit in the alley, set the shit on fire, and burn up part of my gate. Burn up part of my little privacy. I can't even file no claim because it ain't enough. It's still gonna cost me a few $100. But it's like, but what I'm saying is, so when you got a mom or a father and a mom together,
right,
and you constantly hearing, then pow, this kid got shot at the store. This kid, I can see a parent saying, hey man,
I want different. Yeah.
I want different for my son or my daughter. Because the conditions been created to make you have to make a hard decision, because it's almost like, do I keep my son in whatever
dangerous
school,
conditions,
and even though your son may not never get into that, but somebody saying, come here, I can send him to school, I can give him this, I'm put one of motherfucking white girls in their face, one of them long,
you know that's happening. You know that's gonna happen.
One of them long torso and white girls in their face. I mean, no knock on them, but I can see how a person go to it because you really want the best for your child.
I grew up in the 80s. I grew up in the 80s. And my town, I grew up maybe 5,000 people. I ain't grew up in Birmingham. My neighbors was there to chastise me.
Yes, sir.
They was there to chastise me, and then when they made it the point to go and tell my parents, hey, I saw your son doing X, Y, Z, and this is what I saw him doing. It wasn't no question about, did you do it? Yeah, I did it. You know what's going to happen come that. You're going to get that ass whooped.
Sure.
And then, so you know you don't disrespect no elderly person. You know you don't get out of line. And you know that if something going to happen to you, there's going to be consequences behind your action. The thing about it is now, what I found out, these women who has no idea, no concept of bringing up a family because they wasn't taught, because a lot of them been like, hey, don't you touch my kids, or don't you, chastise my kids. Mm-hmm. When that is needed the most, because if you don't chastise the child, show that child between right and wrong, because there's a time and a place to do a thing, then he's going to run out of control. Everything is about structure. Everything is about, hey, listen, I know I ain't grow up with no silver spoon in my mouth, but I do understand that when I'm around people, I respect my elders. Still to this day, man, shit, I'm 50-something years old. I'll still tell the older person that, hey, yes, sir, no, ma'am. It's just something that's built in me to respect them, to say, hey, I respect you.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm here to learn. Because the most biggest thing about life, man, I found out is you got to go through it.
Yeah.
But there's a way that you have to construct yourself, things that you have to do in order, you know what I'm saying? You can't go around disrespecting everybody.
No.
And then every time you get emotional, someone says something to you that you want to fight. Fight with your brain, fight with your head.
Yeah, but that's a lack of
better way.
We're going to catch up with you.
Yeah, it's a lack of ass whooping. Then,
but,
unfortunately, some
grown
folks do need ass whooping.
Yeah, but I'm saying, though, think about it. Now, I slapped the shit out of motherfuckers, too, now. Don't get me wrong.
Left or right hand?
Both of them.
That's a good slap.
Two-piece, baby. Two-piece. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what I'm looking for. I look for de-escalation instead of escalating, because I know for a fact I'm not going to let somebody harm me. So I would try to de-escalate first. But nowadays, now we got these phones. Yeah, fight, bitch, let's fight. Like, come on now. Let's be an adult. De-escalate the fight, because you don't want to see other people escalated further than it needs to be.
We were just talking about that in here last week, how you might have a setting, whether it be women or men, girls or boys, 5 minutes before something break out, everybody in this setting is cool. Mm-hmm. Whether it be family, friends, people that stay around each other, whatever, y'all all cool. 2 people get into it right there in the set.
Yeah.
the rest of the people, whether it be 1 or 100, sit there and watch them argue to the point of a fight, or violence, period, or stabbing or shoot. I'm like, okay, wasn't everybody just how he get killed? If he out here with everybody they hanging with,
those are
two
not
of them
friends.
get into it.
Yeah.
And y'all let these niggas that's homeboys that just might be mad and emotional right now, y'all sit and let them kill each other and all y'all cool. Now we ain't talking about jumping in front of no bullies or people that don't know each other. We talking about domestic shit. Where everybody know each other. Cause we been hearing this lately. Brothers killing brothers and children killing parents.
That's some wild shit.
Who's sitting around letting this dog say?
You know that
crazy,
I just thought about something. I just thought about something.
Who the hell sitting letting that
I
shit
said,
happen?
you know what, man? You know what we can do, man? Let's start a boxing league. You understand? And if you got beef, man, come on, man. We ain't got to kill each other, man. And look here. Let's put the boxing glove on. Everybody go home. You got whoop your ass. You whoop my ass. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they shooting for.
They
don't want the initiation of no foul fight.
Oh, no.
At least you get to go home. Start a boxing league. Hey, man, come on, man. You can do that in your backyard.
Sadly, some folks being analyzed, they law for it even start. They just can't stop bumping their gun.
You ain't got to tell me.
So you know,
especially women.
We preaching to the choir,
especially women. Hey, baby, come on in this boxing ring. Let's start a gym, man. Open up a gym.
It'll be nice. That's a solution,
you know
though. I give you that. That is a solution.
And look, we'll do the west side versus the east side. No, whatever. We get the best one out of them and start a league. We start a league.
And the killing part, even if you didn't say fuck the league, come on, y'all, let's fight.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
And we know it's a fair fight.
You'll break up. Yeah.
And everybody get to go home.
Fight. Them same two that been woofing and beefing online. Just come on, we're going to be
Come on, let's put them gloves on, man.
Let's go.
Let's go. And then, look here.
Every fight.
Hey, look, and we can charge for the fight.
Yeah, and we're going to give proceeds to you to let you know we care about you. But stop that stupid shit. You can't fight. We can't fight. Oh, yeah.
And then, sticking to the grounds of the genealogy conversation, what my man T was talking about earlier when he was saying, okay, I researched such and such. I found out such and such was a member of my family, and these people were from such and such. So you thinking about, okay, most of the time when you talking about people that are concentrated in the area, whether it be a town, city, or a state,
this genealogy shows you who was who in your area when you was growing up.
But my thing was, what I was getting around to saying is that most of the time, people you around, you probably kidding most of the niggas ass you around.
You're absolutely right.
All y'all ain't end up in Alabama. All y'all ain't end up in Georgia. All y'all ain't end up in New York. So you probably kin to a vast, and we ain't gonna put no number on because we don't know. You probably kin to a vast percentage of the people you around.
Yeah.
But you sitting up killing them. You sitting up into it.
Not knowing that y'all cousin.
Not knowing
y'all cousin.
That's probably the down the line kinfolk. Kinfolk somewhere.
Yeah.
Now let's do this before we go too far. The Barbershop Stories Podcast, episode 115, been great. Would you like to do an episode 2?
Sure.
Because I know because we put the bitch in fourth gear, we're gonna be at 11:47. I already know it. So what I would like to do, if y'all fans would like it and the people who tuned in, is that we'll bring T back so we can go a little bit more in depth because this is the prelude. And we wanted to let you know what it was about, and then we'll come back.
I need about 3 of them.
3 weeks later, and we'll do part 2 and possibly a part 3. If y'all with that, say yeah. But so what it is, and then like I say, we don't want to just end abruptly, but at the same time, we want to keep y'all tuned. We want to keep y'all informed. We want to keep you interested. So what we'll do, we'll see y'all next week for Barbershop Stories, the podcast, episode 116, and that will be with Jazz Real, artist from Alabama.
Real.
Episode 117, we're going to have J-Bay with the SIP podcast. And then the episode after that, we'll bring T back and we'll continue this journey on a genealogy search. Different conversation that's connected, whether it's directly or indirectly, because it's all a big puzzle.
We talking about us.
That's right. So with that being said, we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back next week. Shout out to K1 with Z-Lens Media for all your recording, editing, weddings, receptions, funerals, all that shit. He'll take pictures dead for, but he'll do it all. So y'all make sure y'all check him out. Then make sure you also check out the next comedy show is well, here in Birmingham is June 16th. That's Father's Day. That's the show called Eyes That Baby's Daddy. The edition with Positive K, D'Amico, Sunshine, hosted by myself, comedic narrator Benny Mack, and also performing live, BJ Lawrence. And if you're in the Enterprise, Alabama area, make sure you check out that Southern Soul Sundays with Big Money, the Southern Soul Trapper, Breeze, Mr. Do Too Much, Tony Brown, a.k.a. Miss Brown Sugar, also hosted by me, comedic narrator Benny Mack. That's at Cisco's. Shout out to Shirley down there at Cisco's. We'll see y'all. Go to the website for more info. Benny Mac 205. I bring you that funny for a little money. Is always something to laugh at. We are professional barbers. Benny Mac's on first.com. And once again, Bro T, if you got some social media info, anything else you want to give them before we close out?
I'll get them to him next time, man. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to get in touch with me, my phone number is 770-364-4301, or you can reach me at TTROW4000 at iCloud.com.
Okay, well, that's what's happening, man. Hey, we'll see you next time. I am Benny Mac, this Bro T, and that is.
Oh no, you know we'll have that info next time. Y'all check us out, man. Wednesdays, baby.
That's right. Stay tuned, man. And we are out, man. We'll see y'all next time. We believe the children are the future. Teach them well, let them lead the way, goddamn.
This deep, bro.